Welcome back to Opposites Attract podcast. I'm
Who are you?
I'm Adriana Ramirez.
And I'm Miguel Ramirez. Welcome back to the show.
How's your day?
How was your week?
How's your life?
Going. Good job, girlfriend. As you guys can tell, we have a new co-host for this week. Our guest and co-host, I would say, right? Mm-hmm. Adriana Ramirez. Welcome to the show, Audrey.
Yay.
It's awesome to have you on here.
Yep.
So this week, Sonia is, like we talk about a lot on this podcast, she's like real busy this week. I've been traveling for work. I just got back from Huntington Beach. And as soon as I got back on Thursday. Friday, she started a training class that went through this weekend. And it's been all day, all evening. So Audrey is filling in for Sonia because it would be hard to get her to record an episode this week. And we've barely even talked to each other except for at night when she gets home. So we get to have Audrey on the podcast and kind of catch up. And everybody hears about you all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. You hear about us talking about you guys all the time.
Mm-hmm.
We're always talking about you guys.
Mm-hmm.
How does that feel?
Well, it depends. What are you talking about?
We talk good stuff about you guys. About how sweet you are, how thoughtful you are.
Yeah, I'm a good person.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah. And you're getting bigger. You're going to start driving soon. How far are we from getting your permit?
It's August.
So what?
Less than 5 months.
When can you get it? Is it 5.5?
Well, 15 and a half. So
15 and a half. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
I still think of you as a little baby.
Yeah, you don't want a 5-year-old driving a car.
Yeah, no. Okay, so 15 and a half, you can get your permit.
Yeah, so January 5th.
Yeah. How do you feel about being able to drive?
I'm not that nervous. I might be nervous while I'm doing it, though. Driving. Besides that, when I think about it, it's more like freedom.
Yeah. You know, are there a lot of kids today that that don't really care to drive? Because I see there's kids that with Uber and with Lyft, it's I could just get a Lyft to places. I don't really need a license for anything. It's just another expense. I got to get insurance and gas and all that other stuff. Do kids see it that way, or how do kids see it now at your age? At
my age, they're I want to drive right now.
Yeah?
Right now.
Okay.
They're scared, though, on the highway. When they're on the highway and they're driving, they're I don't want to do this. But besides that, it's okay.
Yeah, it takes time to get used to it. Time to get comfortable, right? And we're just getting started with your sophomore year of high school. How is school going?
Really good. There are times when I don't understand, but I understand pretty quickly after I get choir. Nothing crazy. Choir, a lot of choir stuff going on.
You've been doing you've been doing choir. This is what, your third year in a row? Because I think
third year in a row.
No, fourth year. You did it both years in junior high, right?
No, Spanish was my first year.
Okay, so this is your third year. Yeah, and you've really been enjoying choir. Mm-hmm. And you've been you went into, what is it? What choir are you in now?
Advanced treble.
Advanced treble.
Yep.
Yeah. Dude, that's awesome. And it's been cool watching you go to the concerts. Next week we got a baseball game to go to. Mm-hmm. What is it that you guys are doing? We're gonna be watching the Diamondbacks and the Mets play. Mm-hmm. Which is my home team.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So I'll be going for the Mets. But we'll all be going for if the Diamondbacks win, that's one where either way I don't lose. So, but what are you going to be doing there?
We're going to be singing the national anthem before the game starts.
Nice.
So
that's awesome. And this is the second time you've done that, right?
Yes. The first year I was in 8th grade. So
the first time I missed it. I think I was on a work trip, probably. I had something going on and it just didn't work with my schedule. But this time, like I said, last week I was out on a trip to Huntington Beach. I got to train jiu-jitsu while I was out there. I had a lot of fun. Took advantage of the opportunity of being out there. Had some really nice moments that I can share with you guys. But yeah, now that I'm back, this next week we'll be going to the Diamondbacks game. You'll be singing in that, and then so that. What is it about choir that keeps you coming back? Why do you like it so much? What draws you so much to choir?
I just like singing.
Yeah? The
emotion, expressing, it's just good to express emotion. So I find choir a good way to express things. And the people in there are really nice. They're really sweet and they're very authentic. They're very genuine. So Like, there's nobody that I really don't like in there.
You find a lot of
Everybody
nice
just
people.
Yeah, the first year I went in choir, everybody was really sweet. And it was like very crazy to me because with other classes that I've been in, you don't really see that with people. There's like, I don't know, some people's personalities are just like,
They're hard to mesh with.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like they're not authentic. They're not. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's all right.
They can be uncomfortable in their own skin, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, and with choir, people are singing in the hallways while we're walking to our next class. Not much people would do that. They'd be really embarrassed, and we're people singing the highest note with our like lungs dying.
There's like that and drama where you kind of have to act and stuff like that. Like you can't, like if you're gonna do it and be good at it, you kind of have to just let go, right? And just let it out. And it's kind of hard to do that if you're worried about what other people think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really cool. There's something that your mom and I talked about on this podcast that we never got to, which is I think an awesome tip for parents that most people wouldn't even think about, that we just kind of stumbled across. I think it might have been one of your friend's mom that's a teacher that suggested that you take honors classes. Was it?
Miss
Or
Lockwood?
who was it that suggested that you take honors classes?
Oh, the kids in choir.
Oh, the kids in choir? Well, one thing that we had talked about was that when, especially like today, with so many like classes having so many kids in them, right? And the teachers having to pay attention to so many different kids and what's happening over there. Like in high school, you've told us in the past that it gets difficult like to pay attention because you have kids that are, taking the attention away from the teacher, and then the teacher has a hard time teaching, and then it's hard for you to learn what you're supposed to learn, and then you feel like you're falling behind, and it's just stressful. Is that right? Or how do you feel like in the past when you were in classes?
When I was in classes like that, it wasn't that I would struggle. It was just more, I don't think I learned fully how it worked. Like in Spanish last year, like she was a really nice teacher, but the kids in there were always loud and noisy, and they it was hard to learn, and it would be hard for her to teach. So there would be days where she couldn't teach anything because the kids were so annoying.
Wow.
And it wasn't easy. I was still really good in the class because I would do like studying a little bit and stuff, but like if I didn't study, I don't think I would have been.
It just makes it harder to learn like that. Yeah. I could see that. And then when you started taking the honors classes this year, what's the difference that you've noticed between the classes last year and taking honors classes this year?
The classes that I take this year, they're much more focused. There are some classes where they're noisy, but they're not like noisy to the point where she can't teach. Like she's really good at teaching. So
yeah,
it's just like they're much more focused because some kids choose to take honors. I chose to take honors, and so
yeah,
like there could be others that didn't, but
yeah, and that's a great point because that's one thing that we didn't really think about until I think your mom and I went to your like the open house where we got to walk through the school, and we were just kind of thinking like, yeah, honors classes isn't something that you just get put into, right? You have to pick to take honors classes, So if you think about the kids that are just going to get put into classes, a lot of times if they're having trouble at home or, they're not really focused on school or, like they're just getting put into classes with everybody else. But the type of kid that's going to take an honors class is probably somebody that's more focused on school. Their parents probably pay a little bit more attention and try to help them and notice when something's going on and all these things. And you have a different type of kid in class that wants to learn. It's not somebody that is frustrated with school, that maybe is more worried about, being hungry or the problems that they're going to have when they get home or whatever. You get to learn a little bit more. And is it Is it any harder? Like, or do you feel like it's more challenging taking the honors classes?
Well, the very first year, like my freshman year, I was in a regular math class, and then throughout the year, my math teacher said that I should switch. And it's funny because I would be in the honors class the second semester, and there would be kids that are in regular, and we are literally on the exact same page. Like, we have the
Huh.
exact same homework.
So you guys weren't any further ahead.
No, I don't know what's the difference. I mean, in chemistry this year, apparently there are kids that aren't learning what we're learning. Like, we're learning more difficult stuff, and they're learning more like the fun side in a way. We're actually getting into like science.
Okay. Well, maybe
So,
it's like for that, maybe there's like a different techniques in how they're teaching, but it seems like you guys are all learning the same stuff either way.
yeah, I don't think it's difficult. But that's just me. I don't know how it is for other kids.
Yeah.
But if you understand most things, then I would take honors because it's not that hard. I barely get any homework. And I always thought, like, in junior high, I would hear kids staying up till 2 a.m. doing their homework. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing honors. Nope,
Well,
never.
yeah.
And then in high school, they're like, it's not that hard. They just move a bit faster. I would recommend taking honors. So I was like, well, I guess I'm going to take honors.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah, and
not
that
bad.
seems and do you feel like we were saying earlier, like that you get more attention, like if you need help? Is there more of a benefit to taking honors?
I would say the GPA is a benefit because if you're good, like you keep up with your work, you probably could have a A or like a high B, and your GPA it would go up a bit more than usual because it's weighted. The help, that's just like with anything, asking for help, that's going to get you further ahead because if you don't ask for help, you're not going to get anything. If
Yeah.
you're struggling, like, so there's no really difference between the benefit of like help or like learning, I guess, in a way.
Yeah.
It's just you need to ask for help. If you don't ask, you're not going to get ahead. You're just going to stay where you
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, you got to ask for the help if you need it. And that's something that you have to learn how to do. A lot of people don't like asking for help, or they wait for somebody else. And there's been so many times I remember in school where you want to say something, you don't say anything, and then somebody in front of you asks the question that you were about to ask, and you're like, oh, thank goodness they asked that question because I had the same question, and it's like, well, nothing happened. Just ask the question. It's not that big of a deal,
Yeah.
But I think more than anything, the whole attitude around taking the honors class, the teachers teaching the honors class, the students taking the honors class, I think the whole attitude around the whole thing can really shift a kid's learning, because if you have kids that are voluntarily taking a class that people seem to look at as a little bit harder, and they're voluntarily taking that, which means that there's somebody that wants to learn. And teachers, I think, for the most part, get into teaching because they want kids to learn. They want to teach something. So if you have a class of kids that want to learn, and teachers that want to teach, that teach the honors classes, I think that's a pretty good combination, and you're probably going to get a good class of kids to learn. And, when you think about Arizona and our school system and the ranking and everything, like, you look Arizona up, and I don't know if it's changed in the past few years, but it was not good. Like, we were like 49 out of 50 or something like that. But I think that even when maybe we're not the best schools in the country, or we're not the best schools in the country, if doing little things like this, you can still get a decent education. Like, no matter what, the bottom line is, if the kids want to learn, they can learn, right? You can find stuff out. You can study things,
Yeah.
So you've also been talking about softball recently. What are you thinking about that? Not that you have to do it. I'm just kind of bringing it up. But you played club softball before, and you played on your junior high school team.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of had some crappy luck with playing softball in junior high, just kind of the way things worked out, where you didn't have a coach, and then a coach stepped in last minute. And when you don't have like an established coach, it's kind of hard to pick up that momentum. Like, you guys barely even had a team almost. And then your second year, you had a completely different coach. And then,
I mean, that's how it is. If you're in 7th grade,
yeah.
then
So
that's
it was
how it is.
it was a tough introduction to softball, but you still like the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what is it? What have you been thinking recently?
So I might be doing softball this year for high school because I mean some of my friends are doing it, and then I'm pretty sure my other friend wants to do it, but she doesn't want to do it if I'm not there because her and I originally we were always partners when it came to stuff. And so like if we're throwing, then it's going to be with each other. We're doing it together.
Yeah.
So
how's she feeling?
I mean, I told her
Is
that
she
I
leaning
might be
towards
doing
it?
I think she's been
Yeah.
even like
When does it start?
in spring. It's the last quarter
Okay.
sport,
So soon. Not what, we got a month maybe?
no, spring.
Oh, it's coming up. What is it?
Spring. You know what spring is?
September?
Spring, not winter.
Forward. I don't know,
Spring.
whatever. Oh, next year. My bad. I'm thinking fall. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay, cool. That'll be fun.
Mhm.
One thing that I was gonna ask you about, like softball, and it seems like you've been doing jujitsu for a long time, but there was something about softball that kind of brought out your competitive spirit and like your wanting to practice and get better. What do you think it was about softball that brought that out of you?
No, I have to think about that one. I just thought it's really fun. Like, I don't know, just like seeing how far the ball can go when you hit it with a bat, or like just it's like testing my strength in a way.
Yeah.
And then I guess skill. And I just thought of it as really fun. I don't
You just enjoy the game?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's cool. And I know there's something also about being on a team, right? That playing with your, with your teammates and with your friends and having a good team, having a good like team atmosphere where you guys lift each other up and you play hard for each other and you guys do your jobs, because you want to make sure that you guys all do good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you feel motivation to get better from stuff like that?
Well, when it comes to teams, I like in the junior high, I had a sucky team. It was bad.
Yeah, it was tough playing on that team.
So, like, everybody would talk behind each other's backs, and, like, people would get mad if they struck out, and it's like, calm down. It's just a strikeout. I get it. It might mean a lot, but, like, you're going to mess up the rest of the team just by throwing your bat, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, and then it affects the rest of the team. And it was tough also because of the coaches, right? Like we were saying, you need a good leader to lead the team and to have a certain attitude and to kind of straighten those things out when players are getting out of hand. And, it's like, hey, we can't have separate teams within our team and, stuff like that. But those are also things that you got to learn, things that we were able to kind of like, teach you about and how to help a team from within, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you being that positive attitude and, not worrying about all the drama and just trying to lift people up and yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in my club team, that's different. Like, everybody was really nice. There was times when people would talk behind each other's backs, but it wasn't as often.
Yeah.
People were more, like, good, I would say. Everybody was okay with each other.
Yeah.
So
speaking of team drama and all that kind of stuff, we're not going to get into all that, but we recently got you a cell phone. Well, a few years back, we got you a cell phone. And we used to, for those of you that have been listening for a while, we used to have pinwheel, and you used to have a pinwheel phone. And eventually you started growing out of the pinwheel phone, and now you're 15 and you still don't have any social media. And I wanted to kind of talk to you a little bit about that. And like, how do you feel being 15 and not having any social media? Yeah. How is that?
I don't really care.
Going to high school and like all your friends having, like, what do your friends have? What social media do your friends have?
I hear Snapchat or TikTok.
Okay. So if you could have one social media, not that we're going to get you a social media right now, but if you could have only one, what would be the one that you would pick?
Snapchat.
You would have Snapchat?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Why Snapchat over all the other ones?
A lot of my friends, that's like their main texting. That's their main way to text is through Snapchat. Mm-hmm.
And send pictures and all that kind of stuff.
That's just like, that's how they keep up with each other. It's not like I wouldn't even go on Snapchat to go to the social media, maybe sometimes, but like if it's more like check on their story
Yeah.
and see text messages and just like play around with the filters, I guess that would probably be it.
No Facebook?
No, I don't. No, that's for
What? That's for what? What?
old
Huh?
people.
Are you freaking kidding me right now? That's for old people? What about Instagram? Is Instagram for old people?
No, I don't think so. Because some of my friends have Instagram, and that's where all the choir stuff's at.
What about MySpace?
I don't even know what that is. That's probably.
That's the original social media.
That's fine.
Tom, he was everybody's friend. The guy that made it, he made himself friends with everybody.
That's good.
So your first friend was the guy that made it. I would delete him right away.
Oh.
I don't know him. That'd be like Mark Zuckerberg being your friend. It's like, I don't know you, dude. Well, I guess not, because you're not on Facebook, and only old people are on Facebook, apparently.
I mean,
so
there are some people my age that have Facebook, but it's just to like message people.
Probably to talk to their parents.
Well, yeah, like, I mean, like some of my friends that have Facebook because they've like.
Yeah, true. They've followed us on Facebook or found us. Yeah. So what is it like not having, actually, do you know any other kids that don't have any social media that are your age?
I know ones that aren't supposed to, but they have social media. I haven't heard of anybody that doesn't have any. I mean, not anybody that isn't like my friend. Like, I know people that aren't my friends that have social media, but besides that.
No. I'm saying, is there anybody that doesn't like you, that doesn't have any social media that you know of?
I mean, I know of like one person.
Okay. Kind of like you, not supposed to have social media. Doesn't really, they're like, all right, I just don't have it.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
So it's pretty rare. Most kids have something, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is, so how do you feel about that? Like being the only kid pretty much that doesn't have social media?
I don't really care.
Does it make you feel left out? No? Do you feel like you're missing out on anything?
I mean, the DIYs maybe, but I mean,
Yeah, so
I could
you can look
find
up
that
how
on
to do
Pinterest.
Stuff? Right. Yeah. And we let you have Pinterest, so you can look up like the crafts and all that kind of stuff. But as far as like Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, you have a Twitter for your softball that I was kind of putting up pictures at one point, but you don't even mess with that. But it's something that I've been talking to some people recently and kind of talking to your mom. Like, it's something that we have to think about because it's not like you'll never have it ever. The good thing is that you haven't had it for so long that at this point it's kind of like, I could either have it or not. It's no big deal, right? So, but the thing is that we do want you to learn while you're with us and not like have to figure it out once like, all right, I'm on my own now and now I can have everything, which would be kind of weird. So we can just kind of little by little talk about it, figure it out, work on stuff. Have you noticed any problems that social media causes?
Depression. That's one.
How do you see social media causing depression?
I mean, like, if you're in that mood where you feel depressed, most people will go to their phone to find things that relate to them, which makes it worse instead of like going to look for motivation. Or sometimes they'll just keep looking and they never get outside, and not being in the sun for at least a little bit makes you tired than like
they
more
need to go
than
touch grass.
Yes, they need to go touch grass.
They need to touch grass. Is that a meme? Is that a meme right now?
It is a meme.
Touch grass, go touch grass.
My friend told that to somebody yesterday.
So it seems like if you're depressed and you get on your phone, it'll make you more depressed.
It'll
by
just
getting
make
on
it
social
worse.
media. That's kind of like what you notice?
Yeah. I mean, I noticed.
That's so crazy because like your phone does have the ability, just like it could make you depressed, it could make you happy.
It can.
Like if you could put on a song or you could watch a video that makes you happy, or if your phone showed you more happy stuff. The thing is that these algorithms are showing you the things that you look at. Mm-hmm. And if you keep looking at negative stuff or whatever, I don't know. I guess that's like kind of what they talk about the algorithm. It's showing you what you want to see, So But there should be ways to kind of like, if they can have it, the algorithm manipulate you, you should be able to set it in a way that it manipulates you in a positive way, right? With motivational stuff, or yeah, there should be an experiment on that.
I mean, it is how it works. It just depends on what you look at your phone for. Like, for me, I have like a lot of motivational quotes. I'm into that stuff. So like sometimes I'll be on Pinterest and that's like some of the things that pop up.
Yeah.
Or people that I really like that could be like really funny. There's that, and then like music's one too.
Yeah.
Like with me, I don't have any depressing music on there because when I used to be a bit more like negative. So I have a lot of positive, like I don't allow any negative music on my phone. So
that's good. You like to keep the positive vibes.
Yes.
Positive vibes only. Yeah, that's good. You get that from your mom. Mom's always wanting positive vibe. I think everybody knows that on here. But no, that's awesome. Yeah. So what else? Have you seen any other ways that social media affects kids in school? Have you seen like drama because of social media? Like what kind of other problems do you see?
Insecurities, that's another one. I would say when it comes to like their body, like sometimes they'll look at this other person and then they'll be like, oh, she has like longer eyelashes than me or something like that. And then it's like, oh, okay, your eyelashes are fine. It's not that big of it. It's fine. You're fine.
They're just like comparing each other, comparing themselves to each other all the time.
Yeah, and it's just like everybody's different. I mean, the person you're comparing yourself to could be thinking the exact same thing about you.
Yeah. And that was one picture out of how many? A lot. How many pictures do people take to post one picture? You know, like I mean, when I take a picture, I take like 5 of them, and then I got to go back and delete 4 of them. You know, but you're looking at everybody's best picture after they're all done up, and it's like, yeah, of course they look great, but they don't look like that every minute of every day. And even if they did, that's great for them. That's awesome. You know, but that doesn't make you who you are, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot more to people than just how they look. And the people that focus the most on how they look eventually have the hardest time when their looks go away, because nobody's looks last forever. You know, that's just, it'll go away eventually.
Yeah.
Right. And that's like one of the hardest falls from grace, is when you've relied on your looks forever. And now it's like, well, what do I have left? And hopefully you were a good person that brought value, that helped people, you know, that people still, you know, that people want to have around.
Yeah.
Right. That's a good vibe, right? Good vibes only. Right, girlfriend? So yeah, before we do anything else, make sure you guys go to our website. I don't even think we did this in the beginning. No, and share the podcast. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, go to the comments, leave a comment. Go to the Clips channel, Opposites Attract Podcast Clips on YouTube, and you guys can subscribe to that, share that with somebody else. Let people know that the podcast exists. Like we said, that's the best thing that you could do. If you guys want to help us out, you can go to the website, oppositesattractpodcast.com, and click on the Support the Show tab. That'll take you to our Amazon link, and whenever you do that, it'll help out the show. You can also go to buymeacoffee.com/oppositepod, and that'll take you to our Buy Me a Coffee. You guys can subscribe there on a monthly basis, or help us out one time by buying us a virtual drink, a virtual coffee. And you can do that at buymeacoffee.com/oppositepod. And also, if you guys want to support my fighting show, Fighting for Your Life podcast, I recently did an episode with AI Bruce Lee. I used ChatGPT to interview Bruce Lee. Had some really interesting conversation about the UFC and how fighting has evolved and all that kind of stuff. But it was a fun episode, and I'll get into some more of that martial arts stuff on the fighting show. I had like some crazy moments while I was in Huntington Beach, and I got to train out there. There was one day where I got to just like I've mentioned on here and on my fighting podcast, like I'm getting ready for this tournament. And it was just like, you remember when we went to Huntington Beach, right? We stayed on the water. So the kids have had the opportunity to come with me on a work trip. And when we go to Huntington Beach, we get to stay at a nice hotel. And, you know, like I've talked about on here, I get to go to some nice places and I get to see some cool things. But, not but. And a lot of times, one of my first thoughts is like, I wish I could have my wife and my kids here with me. You know, I wish you guys could see the things that I'm seeing in Boston or in New York or in California or whatever. And just, you know, to spend that time with you. And a few months back, I got the opportunity to take you guys with me to Huntington Beach. And we stayed right on the water. Like, you open the balcony and you can see the ocean. The hotel was awesome. And so while I was there this past week, I got the opportunity to just, you know, I'm training for a tournament. And I was like, well, the sun is setting. Like, I'm just going to go run the miles that I'm supposed to run. I'll just run them on the beach right on the edge of the ocean. And it was incredible. Like, it was awesome. And then I got to train at an MMA gym where they have, like, you know, professional fighters train there. Mike Tyson trains there. And yeah, got to have some really, really cool moments, help some people. I got to learn some really cool new techniques. And it was really cool to get to a point in martial arts and like knowing jiu-jitsu where I could tell that the person that I was training with didn't know as much as I did. And I know at least enough to know what this move is about that we're doing. And I can show them how to do the move, even though I've never really done this move before. I understand the principle of it or a little bit about how I'm supposed to move. So it was cool because I got to like have that experience of showing up to a place to learn from them, but also being able to like help one of their students, you know, which is kind of cool because anytime that you have a relationship where you're not just taking, you know, and you can give back, it's always a good feeling. Right. And that's something that I've talked to you and talked to your brother about in relationships. You know, you have to be careful because sometimes when you're somebody that is a giver, you know, that people can count on, somebody that keeps their word, sometimes people take advantage of that, you know, and they treat you in a certain way and you can't allow people to be mean or to treat you unfairly. You know, you got to stick up for yourself. And sometimes that's the last person that we stick up for, right? Mm-hmm. We'll stick up for all kinds of other people, but when it comes to sticking up for ourselves, we won't do it.
It's like, oh, well.
Yeah, right? Have you done that before? Yeah. Yeah, and you have to, and it's not like a mean thing. It's just respecting yourself, right? Mm-hmm. And once you start doing it a few times, you get used to it, you know? So, yeah, so now, dang, I can't believe you're getting so big, girlfriend. So you're going to start driving.
I move out in a few years. Gonna get out of here.
What's that?
What?
You're moving out? You know, a few months ago, we were talking about on the podcast, you were saying that you wanted to move like to the beach. And then your mom's like, oh, that was a long time ago. So what are your plans for when you finish school? What are you trying to do?
I mean, I want to stay near here because, I mean, Yaya's moving here.
Yeah, like, we got a lot of stuff going on
this year. So it's like, why go to Florida now?
My mom's moving here. So that's why you wanted to go to the beach, was to be by Yaya.
Yeah. And so, I mean, we're all like in this area now. So it's like, might as well like stay here. And then like, if I really wanted to go to the beach, I could just go 7 hours away and I could either be in like a new country or
Mexico's only like, it's less than 4 hours. The beach in Mexico is like 4 hours away.
Never mind. Like,
yep.
If I really wanted to go to a new country,
California, I think is like 6.
Yeah. So like I have 2 options to go to 2 different beaches. One's in a different country. I mean, and if I want to go to an amusement park, I mean, there's Universal in California, there's Disneyland, there's Legoland.
Yeah. We got to stop talking about where we live before people like fill this place up.
Don't California my Arizona.
Hey, shh. No. I don't know. Don't even say the state. I'm just kidding. Everybody knows where we're at. But yeah, no, it's I can't wait. I can't wait for your Yaya to get here. These next few months are going to be insane. I know like your mom and I are always talking about how much we have going on. But yeah, like I said, I just got back from this trip. Now your mom's got this thing coming up. My mom is coming next weekend. We got your Diamondbacks game on Thursday. I'm still training for this tournament, which this last week, one thing that I started doing was I would skip my workouts if I was going to go train. So I ended up training 5 days out of this last week, which is the first time in forever, which has been really awesome. Something that has been really cool that's been happening that I don't think only applies to martial arts or jiu-jitsu. But sometimes like the things that we really don't want, that we think we don't want, that we feel that we don't want, that we reject more than anything, sometimes those are the things that make the biggest difference. And I think a lot of times they are, like for me, practicing jiu-jitsu and fighting, like the actual fighting part is the stuff that I don't want to do, that I don't like doing, is being underneath somebody when they're actually trying to choke you 100%. Like, it's not like we're practicing, we're not drilling. Like, we're sparring and they're trying to win, right? I never looked forward to that part. And every time that you go train, that part comes up at the end of training, right? Mm-hmm. So with this last week and going to this place, a lot of times the reason why I don't go train more is because I have podcast stuff to do. We have the family, so I don't want to go and, I'd rather spend time with the family or whatever. But I was like, well, I'm out of town, so I'm going to train every day that I can. So I went every single day that I was there. And little by little, the part that I look forward to the least, the fighting, the rolling part, is getting easier and easier. Not that it gets easy, because it's always difficult, but just more comfortable with doing that. And then being able to build on it and do more stuff, try new things. And it seems like a whole new side of martial arts or whatever is opening. Mm-hmm. Which it seems like anytime that you have an idea to do something and you really start like putting in effort and doing like just consistently one after another, like things start to come together. Have you ever had anything like that?
Like right after I did my first competition,
yeah.
That's when it kicked in, and then it like went down.
Yeah. And the difference is you probably stopped training, right?
Yeah, I mean 5th grade was basketball, 6th grade basketball, yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, and then I'm sure with softball, same thing. Like the more you train, you went to your training camp, and just putting in that consistent training, that makes a difference, Mm-hmm. So yeah, but it's pretty cool, and it doesn't have to be jiu-jitsu. It can be anything, like whatever that hobby is. It could be pickleball. I got a friend that recently started playing pickleball, and it's like anything that you're trying to get better at. And like maybe the way this whole thing, the martial arts and jiu-jitsu, has affected me is like you start just by wanting to it started with you guys, because I was like, well, you guys need to learn how to defend yourselves, you being a girl and getting older and going to school, possibly going to college and going to parties and all that. Like, it's a good thing for you to understand. Joey's going to get into a fight eventually. That's just how it is being a boy. And it's good to have that skill, and it'll teach you a lot of different things. And then I start doing it because I want to also understand. I don't want to like be yelling stuff like a lot of people do from the sideline. Hey, you should do this, you should do that. And you really have no clue what it's like to be out on the mat and to get smashed and to try to think through stuff. When, you're supposed to just do this. Yeah, try to do that when somebody's got their hands and their arms around your throat. It's not so easy, for the kids that are on the mat. So I wanted to understand it. I tried it. Then I understand the confidence that it gives you when you know how to defend yourself, the shape that you get in. You start competing, and the benefits that brings is like knowing that you're progressing and that you really you're learning, that you know your stuff. And then eventually it starts leading into wanting to be healthier so that you can be in better shape, so that you can compete better, so that you can see what your potential is. And I think that any time that you have something that is bringing out your potential like that, man, like that, it can take you so far, you know, because your potential is really limitless, right?
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to singing, I mean, how far could you take that? It's limitless, right? Yeah. And singing is also something that's really cool because anybody can do it. Because there's been every kind of voice out there, right? People that have said that they can't sing. I was talking to your mom recently about a singer called Macy Gray. I'll play the song for you. But I remember hearing her as a kid, and her voice was just like so raspy. And I never listened to what she was saying. And I just didn't like the way she sounded and never liked her music. And then eventually, years later, I heard it and I heard what the song was about. And I really liked the song. But it's like, I think Shakira was told that she sounded like a sheep by a teacher or something like that. You know, but it's like you don't have to have any one particular voice.
Well, yeah, making it unique is probably the best one you can
Yeah.
do. Because then it'd be like, oh, that is that person. And it's like, I mean, that's how you know.
Yeah.
So.
Just be yourself. Though there's an audience for everybody, you know? But you do have to try.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? What is there anything that you wish you would have done? I mean, you're only 15, but I think throughout life, there's always things that we think about. It's like, hey, I should try that. Or is there anything that you, looking back, you wish you would have said, I should have tried that?
I want to say figure skating.
Figure skating.
Because, like, there was, like, this one book I read, and it's about this girl. She's, like, really good at, like, dancing on the ice. I'm like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
And it's like...
Do you remember figure skate or going ice skating from when you were younger?
Mm-hmm. Everybody says I'm good at it.
Yeah?
Although there are times when it's, like, iffy. But then, like, it's, like, once I start, like, warming up to it, then I'm just, like, I'm off.
Yeah. You just need a little bit to refresh your memory.
Mm-hmm.
When was it? I think we went last time was
We're at this, like,
last
place.
Christmas at the in Scottsdale.
Yeah, that ice was
pretty cool.
weird. I did not.
It was like a
the
little track,
ice.
right?
Yeah, but the ice, it was like, I don't even know what kind of ice it was. It was different than like the ice that you usually would skate on in a
Ice rink,
Mm-hmm.
like at a hockey ice rink or whatever.
Yeah, like that ice was like slippery, like actually slippery. So it took me like a bit to get used to it, but I got used to it in a way.
Yeah.
So it was fun, but it was weird.
Yeah.
So
Hey, so I wanted to ask you, what is I think thinking about your mom and I being your parents, what is different? What do you think is different about us than other people or other people's parents, or the way the way you've kind of, because as a kid you get to kind of see into other people and like their relationships and parents and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, there are some kids where I don't see them eating dinner together or doing much family stuff. Like, I don't really see... Actually, I haven't seen any kind of family besides, like, one of my friends. Like, they'll do, like, a family, like, movie night or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't see much families do that. They'll just be in their rooms doing their own thing, I guess. So.
They kind of just split up.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned having dinner. What is that? How do you think that affects the family? Or how have you seen it affect our family and other families?
I mean, I could see, like, other families being more awkward around each other. Because, I mean, dinner is more like a time to, like, get to know each other or know what their day is like. And so I could see, like, maybe awkwardness could be a thing. Maybe.
You know, that's interesting because you mentioned the awkwardness. And I wonder, like earlier we were talking about the social media, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think maybe a combination of not sitting together, so you really don't have that time to sit face to face and talk to each other, combined with also being on social media all the time, kind of makes it like it would be awkward? I don't know if that's a thing, but
I mean, like, there are things like my teacher, like, let me think. One of my teachers this year were talking about, like, not making physical contact, like it's a handshake or like a fist bump or anything like that.
Hmm.
If you don't physically kind of know them or know their name, it makes you less sympathetic towards them.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Yeah. I can
like,
see that.
that's why sometimes there are kids and they're like totally mean to their teachers. It's like, well, you've never really physically met them, have you? Like, have you ever like actually like? It's weird because like, could a high five really do that? Or like a handshake or a fist bump could like.
Yeah. Well, I think it's kind of different because you don't have social media, but you practice jujitsu, right? And you have friends that you roll with,
Mm-hmm.
friends that I mean, in jujitsu, we get as close as you could possibly get to somebody, right? I mean, we're all over each other. And it is like if you think about friends that you have on social media or other friends that you have at school that you've never met, that you've, or not met, but never talked to,
Mm-hmm.
you just kind of see them around. Even the people that we roll around with in jujitsu, we'll probably have a closer connection with, right? This is just because we're physical with each other,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So as far as like eating, the like having dinner together and all that kind of stuff, what do you think it's done for our family?
Is like what?
What do you think sitting down and having dinner together? What do you think that's done for our family? How has that made a difference? Do you think from what you see between our family and everything else you see?
I'd say more connection.
Yeah.
Yeah, cause it's just like it makes it easier to like get to know someone if you have a connection, and knowing somebody's day and their view of it could help like see, oh, this is how they see things, so they might be this way. And so like just understanding that could give you like a better way of knowing someone.
And you say knowing someone, you mean like your kids.
Yes.
Like your kids and what they're going through at school and what your parents have going on, right? You know, because like we talk about everything. Like we talk about my day, we talk about your mom's day, we talk about your guys' day at school. That's when
Mm-hmm.
we find out about dances. That's when we find about singing at the ball game. You know, so that's kind of how we stay involved. And also, I mean, yeah, if you really think about it, you're at school all day. I'm at work all day. Your mom's working all day. Your brother's at school. We get home at about 3. Between 3 and 4, we're all getting home, right?
Yeah.
And then even if we have dinner, which we have dinner late because we always have stuff going on, but between 3 and let's say 7:30 or 8 o'clock, like we're doing either stuff for school, I'm doing podcast stuff, we're talking, we're seeing each other in the house. But if we all just go off and do our thing, that's the end of it, right? Just go get ready for the next day. But we all kind of come back together at 7:30 or 8. And if you've been having a hard day and I didn't notice it when I first got home from work, I'm going to notice it when we're sitting down at the table.
Mm-hmm.
If Joey's had a hard day and I didn't notice it when I got home from work, or your mom didn't notice it, we're going to notice it when he sits down at the table.
Right.
And it's going to be like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
You know, like there's no way you're going to get away from the table without us. I mean, and it's not that we need to solve this like right now, but we're aware that something's going on.
Right.
Right. And at the after dinner, you know, maybe we don't even talk about it at dinner, but after dinner, we know that we got to go up and either talk to Audrey, right? Mom will go talk to you, or I can go talk to Joey, or mom will go talk to Joey, right? Or whatever the situation is, we can also, how many times have we tried to figure out a plan to like solve something while we're sitting and having dinner? This is how we're going to make it to your thing. This is how we're going to make it to your thing. This is how we're going to get done what we need to get done, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've done that so many times. And man, I think just talking about it, you can hear how it brings a family together. It really, it's like bringing a team together, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's where we talk about helping each other out, about chores, you know. Is that what else what have you noticed about chores and your friends? Is there any differences in like what, friends are expected to do around the house and what you guys are expected to do around the house, or, their responsibilities?
I mean, I have a mixture of everything. Some people are like, I don't really do anything. Yeah, my parents clean the dishes. And I'm like, you don't do anything?
Yeah.
And then there are some where it's like they do a lot more than they're supposed to. It's not even like the parents are really helping. It's like, yeah, they work, but as soon as they get home, it's like they're just sitting there like a sack of potatoes.
Yeah.
So,
You can tell the subtle differences, right?
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like either one or the other. I haven't really heard in between.
Yeah.
So, and that's just how it is with me. When my friends are talking to me, it's like either they're doing all the work or they're doing none of the work.
What do you notice about ones that don't? Is there a difference between kids that don't have any chores and kids that do have chores? Have you noticed a difference in how they treat their parents, or like is there any difference?
I mean, both of them are like very talk backy in a way. It's like, because the one that always does the chores wants time to themselves. They need time for themselves. So they're talking to the parents like, give me time, give me time. And then the other ones, they're just talking like, do the dishes. No. Oh, okay. Go ahead. You can go in your room now. It's like
they want to stop the argument, or they just want to be over that that moment, or asking for the help or whatever.
Yeah. So
yeah,
it's just how it is. Like,
it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think no, the dinner, we've talked about it so many times, and I think chores too. Like, we talk about chores, and we do a lot. We do a lot of extra stuff too, with Sonia's business and with the podcast that we have. So we're always doing extra things, but we also explain to you guys, your guys' responsibilities around the house to help out. And we do see it as a team, because when it comes down to it, like we said, when we sit down at the table and you have something that you want to do, like, one thing I remember being a kid, which I never took advantage of this because I wasn't a very good student, but my dad would always tell me, like, you could do whatever you want to do as long as you're doing good in school. Like, this is your number one responsibility for me, is for you to do good in school. And aside from that, like, my answer is going to be yes to just about everything, And I understood that, but there's more that goes to that. I never took advantage of that because I always did bad in school until my last year. And then I graduated and did well. But with you guys, like, I've kind of felt the same way, and you've done so well in school. Like, we were talking about all your honors classes, and, you killed it in junior high. And now you're killing it in high school, and and it's just that you want to do well, right? And your brother's like, he's hitting his stride, he's getting on a roll. And, to a certain point, like, we want you guys to do everything that you want to do. Like, we still got to be your parents. There's things that you're not going to be able to do. There's some things that we just can't do because we're limited on the things that we can for now. Doesn't mean that we'll never get to, but we're always trying to figure out how can we? And if it's something that you want to do and you're doing great in school, you're respectful, you're taking care of stuff at home, you're a good person, shoot, why not? Why not try and figure out anything that you want to do? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I think you're giving yourself the best options possible, by taking the classes that you're taking, and, just kind of setting yourself up for the future. You're setting yourself up to be able to get scholarships, to continue going to school if that's what you want to do. If we continue these family businesses, you can join us on that. We can all work together. Like we've talked about on here, there is no plan, like, as soon as you turn 18, even though when you say you're leaving as soon as you turn 18, that doesn't have to happen. And you can live by us, but no matter what, we'll all take care of each other. We'll be okay. We'll figure out what you want to do and how you're going to do it and how we can help you. And it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see what, we have going on with Sonia. and with her retreat. Make sure you guys give us a call, send us a message if you guys want to go to the retreat. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be in Sholo, Arizona in October. But if you guys want more information, make sure you hit us up 480-331-9846 or send us a message and we can get you that information. Anything you want to say before we get out of here, girlfriend?
I just like the word
Sholo? For Sholo in Arizona. But that's where the retreat's going to be. There's going to be kayaking. I know she's going to have all kinds of different activities. It's going to be fun. But yeah, definitely reach out to us. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching the show. Make sure you guys come back next week. Sonia will be back. And thank you for supporting the podcast. We'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.